Hey everybody, this is Selima with Selene Moon Goddess Tarot. I am here with a no contact, your person's thought and feelings tarot reading. I have two piles here. I have this pile, Ethereal Visions Tarot Luna Edition, and I have When Women Had Wings Tarot deck. So as I kind of chit chat here, look at the decks and see which ones kind of call to you, or you can just listen to the whole reading. It's all up to you. But I only have enough time for two piles, and I'm on a little vacation, so I'm not in my normal spot. I wanted to just let you guys know that I do have a little website up with some information about who I am, and you can contact me through there for personal readings, selenetarot.com. And then also you can email me at selenegifttarot@gmail.com if you want more information on pricing or subject matter, or how many questions and all of that per reading that you can get, and the packages that I have. So all of that out of the way, thank you for joining me, and let's get started. All right, this is going to be pile 1 and this is going to be pile 2. Okay, pile 1. So your person's hidden thoughts. Now this can be a crush, this could be a situationship, this can be just somebody that you're not having contact, or you're having minimal contact with, and you're just needing to kind of get some answers on, or a snapshot of kind of like where they're at, right? When it comes to you and the connection. So let's see what we got here. I'm gonna go ahead and shuffle this. And I apologize if I'm on a bed doing this, so if it jiggles because I'm shuffling, I apologize. All right, let's get started. Pile 1's person. How are they feeling about this connection in pile 1? Pile 1's person. How are they feeling about this connection and pile 1? How are they feeling about this connection in pile 1? How are they feeling about this connection with pile 1? All right, we'll start there with 3. All right, and I also have some message cards too. All right, so we have the 5 of Swords, the Ace of Wands, and the Ace of Pentacles. I don't know if you can see that. So right off the bat, I'm feeling like things definitely were left unsaid. Either there was an abrupt stop to this connection, either somebody was breadcrumbing the other one, and then just stopped communication, or something came in the way. And there is some regret and some feeling like the rug was pulled out from somebody. So it could have been they feel like the rug was pulled out from under them, or you feel that way. Either way, the 5 of Swords is that kind of energy of like, thinking that you won the war, but you only just won one battle. Something like that. I know I'm saying that wrong. I'm really good at saying sayings backwards and messing them up. So, but what I'm feeling here is that there's just something left unsaid. Communication that just kind of abruptly stopped. Like things were going great, and then suddenly some kind of surprise came in there. And the Ace of Pentacles is a card about like wanting to send a message, wanting to thoughts that are, or sentiments that are grounded, some kind of realization that there's an offering there, like this person wants to communicate with you, and still does have passion for you with the Ace of Wands. Okay, so maybe you cut this person off. Maybe they were breadcrumbing you, and you were just like, I'm not gonna. I deserve better than that. Um, uh, it's a little kind of concerning to me. Not concerning, like seriously, like something terrible, but I find it interesting that you have an Ace of Pentacles and an Ace of Wands, versus the much more stronger cards about passion and wanting to communicate that could have come out. So let's clarify the 5 of Swords. Why the 5 of Swords? Why is this person thinking the 5 of Swords with this connection? Why is the person thinking the 5 of Swords with this connection? What's going on with the 5 of Swords here? All right, the Two of Swords. Okay. Clarify the Ace of Pentacles, please. Page of Cups. That's what I said. And the Ace of Wands. Why the Ace of Wands for this, for pile one and this person? Queen of Swords. Eek. Okay. All right. Well, this feels like a connection that is dying or has been on pause for a long time. It feels cold to me. It doesn't feel passionate. It feels like there's confusion about what this was. So this could have been a situationship. Maybe it was a coworker, or maybe it was somebody that, maybe, oh, excuse my notifications are going off. Maybe you will be getting a message here soon. Yeah, it just seems like in the bottom of the deck, we have the Page of Wands, right? And that's young energy. So this could be a new connection. This could be something that was just like, it could have been something even unexpected. To clarify the Five of Swords, we have like the Two of Swords, which really is about, you see how she's there with her bandana or, blindfold, right? And her two swords. Really, it's about like trying to seek intuition, trying to seek guidance within yourself, which sometimes is really good. Sometimes it's not so great. Like sometimes you need to look externally for signs of guidance on situations and what you need to do. But she's sitting there with a blindfold and also very protective of herself with the two swords on each side. So I feel like this could be the situation where they feel like you were cold to them. They feel like you cut them off. They were left with their cup in their hand, wanting to offer you something, and with the Page of Cups, clarifying the Ace of Pentacles, and not getting it reciprocated. So for me, it feels like you were the one that was standoffish with this person. And to clarify the Ace of Wands, kind of puts a hard stop on any kind of, wands are all about passion. And the Queen of Swords puts a big stop on that. That's like putting a big bucket of water on a fire, like she is an icy queen. She's been through a lot. She's had a hard life, and she is not about the bullshit. She's not about to entertain something that she feels, oh gosh, I'm so sorry. Hold on one second. Let me turn my notifications off here. Sorry about that. So she is not about, any of the bullshit. So I think that this could be you. Now, I don't know why. Like, why? Okay, so let's say why, pile one. Why'd you do that to this person? Okay, this is a counterpart situation. We have the King of Swords. Maybe you feel like they were cold first, and you are all about being proactive of, protecting yourself from being hurt. So that whole saying that I'm going to cut them off before they cut me off could have been a situation here. All right, let's get two more cards. Let's get some advice, because clearly, pile one, if you're watching this, you are concerned about this connection in some kind of way. Like you're wanting some kind of, resolution of it, whether it be admitting where you're at and admitting that there's feelings there, or tying up these loose ends and communicating, saying, listen, let me be vulnerable and explain why I did cut you off. Like, I really am afraid of getting hurt. Like, I got spooked. This was too much, too fast. Like, I felt like it scared me, that's what's coming to me. But let's get some advice for pile one. What should pile one do in this situation, Spirit? What should pile one do? Please, Spirit. Thank you. Okay, Wheel of Fortune. So the Wheel of Fortune is a card that talks about moving from one stage to another. And it usually is useful in readings to kind of indicate whether you're going forward or backward in a situation, right? As far as advice, it's wanting you to change direction and look and see this. okay, I'm going to explain something to you. So we talked about the Two of Swords, right? The Two of Swords are seeking intuition within yourself, right? And being protective about that. The moon is all about opening yourself up to possible illusions about this situation. So your perception about the situation, perceptions about how you think this person feels, perceptions about their intentions with you, all of those things, the universe is saying you need to back up because I think that you're not seeing things clearly, seeing them for what they are. When you think about moonlight, you can look out into the pasture fields where there's bushes, and under the moonlight, those bushes could look like animals, right? You can get led astray, even though the moon does provide light. It's not like the sun, right? The clarity is lacking there. So it tells me that there isn't an ending yet with this situation, and that there's something for you to learn about this situation. So it has purpose. This connection has purpose. And instead of, clamming up and wanting to only just uh, care for yourself and watch out for your own needs and fear of getting hurt, but to be open to this connection. Even if it ends up being a friendship or turns romantic later, that this connection is an essential connection to teach you something in your life. Now, you might be going on your own spiritual journey. You might be learning about what it is to have a spiritual awakening, and the deepness of this connection might have just really scared you. But our purpose here on earth is bigger than what we have been shown based on social norms. The way our society is set up, it's set up like an ant farm. Everybody has what's in front of them, and they dig their little valleys and holes and little mazes, and go to and from work every day, and don't take time to do introspective thinking and thought, and or even don't even grasp that we can completely change direction in our life and absolutely be happy with a completely different life. And we're not bound to what people want for us, what society says we should have for our own life. Our own life is our own life to live. Okay? So I'm just going to leave that there. And let's do a couple of secret thoughts of your person. These are kind of, if your person is not, if this isn't a romantic one, but it was a spiritual kind of jolt type of connection, these might seem a little romantic, but let's see what comes out for you, okay? This deck is called Twin Flame Love Notes. So let's see. What does Pile 1's person really secretly want Pile 1 to know? What does Pile 1's person secretly want Pile 1 to know? What does Pile 1's person really want Pile 1 to know? What is Pile 1's person? First we got, are you thinking about me? Which makes me feel like it matches the Five of Swords in this deck, right? It just looks like he's deep in thought, like confused. Are you thinking about me? The second card we got, can you hear me whisper your name? So this card makes me feel like the type of connections where you suddenly are thinking of them for no reason, and that thought of them is accompanied by an emotion that you're feeling. Somehow they're not around you, but you think about them all the time, and their essence or their just the thought of them is triggering to you. And the thought of you for them might be triggering to them, where they just can't forget what happened. All right, let's get two more cards. Oop, you got three more cards. The next one we have here is, do you love me the way I love you? So there's definitely love here. Now, sometimes it could be limerence, right? It could be, is it limerence? Where you have this attachment to someone because of the hope of them loving you back, because it's attached to wounds that you have, not necessarily that there's a connection there. But I do think that this love that they're talking about is coinciding with that thought of you is evoking emotion in them that they haven't felt before, that is confusing to them. Kind of going along the lines of, can you hear me whisper your name? It says, our love is eternal. So there is this idea that, even though this was a stop and go situation and you cut it off, or maybe they cut it off and they regret it, either way, they can't let you go. Like, they're trying to forget you, or you're trying to forget them, and you cannot forget this connection. There's something about this connection that feels like you've known this person before in another lifetime. There's something about them when you look into their eyes, you're like, I know your soul, and I've never felt this before, and this is freaking me the fuck out. Okay. And then lastly, it says here, I wish you were next to me. So again, going back to the longing of wanting to come back together, talk things out, and start fresh with a fresh set, just wipe all the cards off the table and start over. And recognize where things went wrong and find a new way to move forward. Because clearly, number one, this connection is important for you, for your growth, and for your person's growth. And it's also important for a purpose that perhaps both of you have on this planet with each other. Because clearly, if you've come together, that's the hard part. The hard part's over with. Finding someone like that on this planet that you feel that you've known in past lifetimes is a very unique thing and does not happen often. So it is worth exploring, but in a healthy way, okay? Where you're still, not throwing yourself in a situation that can cause sadness and depression, where you're like, wishing that you had this person so badly that it is taking away from your life, taking away from you caring for yourself and growing and learning. And that's where it gets kind of pathological. So I will leave this here for you, pile one. This is definitely a deep reading, and there's more there that needs to be revealed for sure. So I think that it would be worth having those conversations with this person if both of you are open to it. And if the other person's not open to it, or you're not open to it and your person is really wanting that, but that, at least tying up the loose ends about it would be a healthy thing to do. So I will leave you with that. Okay, pile one, thank you so much for hanging out with me today for this short reading, and I wish you the best. Again, send me an email at selenegifttarot at gmail.com if you're interested in a personal reading. And also check out my website, selenetarot.com. So you can get to know me a little better there, and also request a reading there. Okay? All right. Have a good day, evening, wherever you're at. All right. Pile two. You picked When Women Had Wings Tarot. This is a beautiful tarot deck, and it's one of my newer ones. And it has a beautiful kind of story behind it, and about how, where women and men's roles really could have or should have turned out, like a more, we live in a patriarchal kind of society, and this deck kind of speaks to the fantasy or the what if it was a matriarchal society, and the roles that men would play, that they were more guardians of the home camp. They were more protectors, and protected the women who had wings, who had these individual gifts and powers in order to bring nutrients and learning and spiritual understanding to the family, quote unquote, or the village or the community. All right. So pile two, let's find out what message your person wants to say or what's on their mind. This is a no contact kind of situation. So let's see what's going on here. Pile two's person, thoughts and feelings about this connection. Pile two. Pile two's person, thoughts and feelings, please. Pile two. All right, so we're going to start with the High Priestess. Beautiful card. The Four of Wands. And the Magician. Wow. Okay, so you have two major arcana cards here. So pile two, your person. You might know this, you might not know this, but your person is, first of all, a very intuitive, spiritually connected person. Uh, I love how this card, it has this woman. Remember, like when women had wings, this woman has a black feathers on her. Her wings are black like a crow or a raven, and I love that because ravens, crows, birds, feathers can lean towards swords energy. So intelligence, intuition, epiphany, learning, all of those things. But when we look at that in while we are examining the High Priestess, she is also tied into her spiritual soul and able to see things beyond the veil, beyond what is socially, what's socially acceptable, what men and what all the things that we learn on this planet, what we think we're doing, what we think we're doing is right or wrong. She can see past all of that. And so your person here is very spiritual. And they've connected that they feel that this connection with you is a very powerful one and one that has the potential. And I say potential because of the Magician, but I'll explain that more. But has the potential to be a very powerful, fruitful, solid connection. Four of Wands in a love reading can mean marriage. It can mean stability, coming together. Sometimes people say it's the 1111 card, or those that believe in twin flames believe that is confirmation. I have a lot of different opinions about the twin flame idea, but for me, the Four of Wands is definitely a card of commitment, stability, and hope in growth, in looking forward in the future. So they have all of these beautiful thoughts about you and them having a very solid connection. And the Magician here is why I said that that the Four of Wands is bringing a potential, because we have the potential here with the Magician. He's got a wand, he's got a sword, he's got a pentacle, and I know somewhere around here he's got a cup as well. There we go. And it's all about using everything that you have around yourself, using what you know, what you've learned, and also moving forward and learning more about your situation and manifesting that situation for the highest good of yourself or everyone involved in the connection. So there's still some moving parts in this connection. This connection is not nailed down, so to speak, because there's some things that, like, if your person still feels like they need to tap into their intuition about the connection, there's something that's not. What we're missing here is we don't have pentacles, except for the one here, and pentacles really are about being grounded, right? Having something nailed down and solid. So let's clarify. Let's clarify the High Priestess, please. Why the High Priestess for pile 2? Spirit, and why the Four of Wands? Tell me mine. Thank you. And Magician. 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 Thank you. All right. So the first card we got for the High Priestess, that's amazing. Okay, so you have the Seven of Swords. That is the clarification for the High Priestess. All right, Seven of Swords right away, off the bat, I'm feeling like confirms the secretness. Like, your person has to tap into their intuition about this connection, because either there's a lack of communication between you both, and she or he is having to really go into themselves spiritually to really connect, to see and feel where you're at in this connection. And it's a secret. Seven of Swords is like she's walking away. There's destruction happening behind her, but she's gleefully stealing, Four Swords. So I think that that is the reason why. So that speaks to me that there isn't enough communication happening, which, I mean, the reading is about that, right? It's about no communication type connections. So that's why your person is having to tap into this high, strong power to feel where you're at in the connection. And if there is some intuition happening here where you guys are connected souls, uh, he or she might already know that you care for them in the same way, or at least feel those same feelings, or have those just acknowledgments, just the knowing, right? The clear, cognizant knowing that this person also feels the same way. Now, for the Four of Wands, again, speaks to just stagnancy. You have the Hanged One. And the Hanged One is, I like this card because it does speak to like lack of movement, but the lack of movement is not for sulking or being insecure or being scared of anything. You know, usually the Hanged Man is depicted with a man upside down and willingly tying themselves to a tree by their foot, so that they can just seek more understanding and intuition about any situation that has been brought before them. So if this falling under the Four of Wands, there's more questions about that. There's more like, again, your person is working very hard to tap into how you're feeling because you are not communicating at all to them. They're having to put in a lot of work. And because that work of tapping into what you might be feeling is confirming equality in the feelings, your person is still holding on. Like, I think that if they went through all of this work to try to tap into you, and they were getting other cards that just speak to like a lot of swords, of coldness or pulling back, I don't think that your person would pursue this connection at all. But I think because there is an understanding and a confirmation in the intuition your person has that there is reciprocal feelings, they're holding on. And then to clarify the Magician, we have the Two of Pentacles. And the Two of Pentacles is the pentacles we were talking about. Like I wished that there was something more grounded here. And the Two of Pentacles is really that. It is finding the grounding, finding the balance in the middle of the storm. And you see like there's some stormy waters and a boat there, and she's on the rocks by the shore, just trying to maintain that flow and the balance. And that is under the Magician. So that's where the working of as above, so is below, using tools. Maybe your person is highly spiritual and uses tarot, uses pendulums, uses tools to tap in to get answers because you're so quiet. So let's get some insight. Why are you so quiet? Like, I want to know why are you so apprehensive about this? So what's going on about pile 2? Why are they so apprehensive about this? Because it seems like there's a lot of love and a lot of genuine desire to grow here. So let's see. What's going on with piles 2? With pile 2 and reluctance. Pile 2's reluctance, please. Pile 2's reluctance. Why? One more, please. One more about pile 2's reluctance. Please, Spirit. Okay. So we have, wow. Interesting. I wonder if this might be related to pile 1. I'm not sure if each of you are in each of these piles, but we've got the Five of Wands. So I think you were shocked by this connection. You were taken by surprise. I think the Five of Wands is different than the Five of Swords, because the Five of Swords is about winning the fight but not the war, right? Five of Wands is more about chaotic energy, like it being unexpected, coming at the worst time, like it feeling like, damn it, this is passion. I feel passion because that's what wands are, but it's like, damn it, why couldn't this have come at a different time? The timing is terrible for this. So that's maybe one thing that you were feeling. The other thing here, we have the Four of Swords. This could be about just really wanting to be a reclusive and look within yourself. Maybe pray about this situation. Maybe take time, like, wait a minute, hold your horses. You know, you're coming from a place I have never known before, and I need to study this. I need to go back and like take a sabbatical, a spiritual sabbatical, and go back and see why has this come to me? Where is this coming from? What does it mean? Um, and I think that your person here with the High Priestess is tapping into your ability, that you have an ability to be just as intuitive and spiritual and connected to vibration and frequency as they do. I don't think that you see it for yourself, though. You have three swords here that are pointing down and one underneath. And I think this really represents, the one underneath represents your ability there. You just haven't, it's buried. You've suppressed it, perhaps because it's not acceptable in your environment. It's not acceptable with traditions that you grew up with, or your religion, or something like that. And then the last card we have is the Nine of Swords. Yikes. Nine of Swords. So this connection has caused you some distress. Pile 2. You stay up at night worrying about this connection. You don't know what to do with this connection. You don't know where to go with this connection, but you can't let go of the connection because I think you're also in your head a lot. You know, a lot of what spirituality is about, you know, there's trendy spirituality, and then there is real connection to the universe that happens through a spiritual awakening. A lot of people are trendy out there. You know, they throw the words out about universe and about being spiritual, being connected. But really what takes place when you have this kind of breakthrough. Like for me, my breakthrough was realizing that I wasn't happy where I was in my life, in the worst way. I was very depressed. And having the epiphany that I had the power to change my life, and that the universe or God was waiting for me to have that epiphany so that gifts can be given to me that have been mine from the beginning. Gifts in changing the trajectory of my life, gifts in learning my spiritual gifts, learning to be an authentic human being, to be myself, not take things personal, to walk through life with no fear. And that is the goal, right? Because we all have fears. Some people have fears of letting go and just letting all their emotions hang out because they're afraid to be judged. But everybody has feelings. There's not a reason to be judged, you know, if you're talking to an authentic person, right? With this Nine of Swords, I think there's just too much of that going on. And it's holding you back. And let's see what it's holding you back from, and then we'll get some message cards. What is the logical thinking that pile 2 is going through? How is that holding them back in this connection, Spirit? How is that holding them back? How is that holding them back? All right, you got a lot. All right, it's holding you back from the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands is about communication, passionate communication that moves fast. So it is being free to let go and feel the feels, have the understandings that are coming to you without apprehension, without concern for being judged, and being completely authentic and just jumping off the bridge, right? The bungee cord, just jumping off the bridge with the bungee cord and saying, you know what, just fuck it. I am going to fucking be honest with who I am, with what I want. How that plays out still remains to be seen, but I got the determination to move forward. If I have to dance that dance delicately, fine, but the goal is to be honest and be authentic and real about what my feelings are, what my passions are. The next one is the Page of Swords. Page of Swords actually is a card that some people use as spying or being immature in how you are looking at things. I see this in this connection as going back to that childlike curiosity, that unraveling all of the cloth and linen that you've covered your heart with and say, I am so curious about this. I don't know anything about this spirituality. Like you're coming, you've graduated with your PhD here as being the high priestess, pile two person. But pile two is like, I'm barely got my first sword in this fight. I don't know, but you know what? I want to learn. Let's start. Let's start learning. Let's start learning. Moving forward. It's forward momentum is what the Nine of Swords is. All this worry and angst is holding you back from. This is holding you back and keeping you stagnant and not allowing for gifts that are fruitful gifts, solid gifts, profound gifts are waiting for you, you know? And then the last card we have is the Page of Cups, and that's an offering of love. That it's holding you back from being able to offer your love and for love to be offered back to you. So in some kind of odd way, it's like you're shooting yourself in the foot and really, you know, preventing your own growth and preventing your own happiness by not moving forward and staying in this scary energy of the Five of Wands. You know, you really have the everything laid out on a silver platter for you if you could just get out of your head and take one step forward with this curiosity, with a childlike curiosity. You know, when you think of kids, man, when they start walking, they don't give two shits. They can't see past their nose about like whether they're going to fall, whether they're just, everything is like, let's see what happens. And parents know this, and it's the scariest time. I think one of the scariest times as being a parent is when your kids are old enough to want to be curious and discover everything, but also able to really hurt themselves in that same way. And I think like the universe knows that about us. We're too careful in our lives, and we've constructed a society that is way too careful. Everybody worries about this, from your credit score, which is really, what the fuck is that? I mean, we've made that up with our currency. That's not even something that is a part of the earth, is a part of the planet at all. You know, like it has nothing to do with how this earth moves. The earth is going to stay the same whether you pay your credit or whether you don't. You know, like how we can focus so much on things that are important to the society we live in, but is it really important to who you are as a person? And I always had this thing, even before I started tarot, I would tell myself like, you know, Selima, you know, for all this self-imposed suffering, you're not going to die and get some kind of trophy at the end of your life. And God or universe is not going to say, you know, good job, Selima. Here's your trophy. You suffered so much. And here's your little trinket when you're done and you get to go to heaven. What a depressing idea that is. We don't get that. We have this life to live, and there are lessons that are super important for us to learn and for us to impart on others while we're here. To have that reciprocal energy of learning, just the way the circle of life happens, just the way nature feeds off itself and maintains itself because it's connected to the earth. And we've lost sight of that. And I know I'm kind of off subject here, but just keep that in mind, chew on that for a little while, and take a step forward and see what happens. I bet you're going to be surprised. All right. So let's do some message cards from your person and see what they have to say to you. Okay. Let's see. What message does pile two's person have for them? Some message cards from pile two's person to pile two. We got a big group there. All right. Let's do that. So we have, why do we have to be apart? That's a big question. So that speaks to me about like, why are these walls up? Why don't you communicate? Why are we not moving forward? Why is this so difficult? And sometimes even if the answer is a hard one, like I'm scared, that's the answer. Okay, well, we can sit on that for a little while. We can talk about that. We can break it apart, you know, make it digestible and figure out why that is. But your person is really just wanting connection with you. The next one we have is, do you miss me the way I miss you? I think your person is really just wanting, again, wanting that connection, wanting to feel that all of these synchronicities and all of this information that your very sensitive, intuitive person has is confirming that for them. But yet they're getting nothing from you to confirm that. And even though it would be so pleasant to live in a 5D society, right, where we could just look at each other and speak without using words, that would be lovely. But that's not where we're at right now. We have to actually pick up the phone and send a text or call or send a message, voice message or something. Like, we still have to have that 3D interaction. We can't just wish it and then just run with it and trust it, unfortunately. The next one is, now is not the time. So I think this is your energy, just kind of that push and pull back of like your person throwing themselves at you, or maybe not throwing themselves at you, but poking you, kind of intuitively, and you saying, no, leave me alone, not at this time. This is that 9 of Wands energy here. No, 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 I can't, because of what if, because of what if, because of what if, because of what if. But great things have not happened on this planet because someone said, what if this bad thing happens? What if that thing bad happens? It's the other what if that says, what if it succeeds? What if it is the absolute thing that makes me the most happiest for the rest of whatever I have left for my life? Another, are you thinking about me? Again, can you communicate? Can we talk about it? Can we open up a little bit? Because the potential for this connection is super powerful. The other pile didn't get major arcana cards, and you did. And I think, again, it's just your person is just really wanting, no matter where the conversation is starting, there isn't a set obligation about what needs to be said or what you're supposed to say. I think just vulnerability is desired here. And again, goes back to what I was saying, that this is a powerful connection. Our love is eternal. And it speaks to, no matter how, there's some connections that we have in this planet that no matter how we push and pull and fight and argue to ourselves about it, it's there. Like, it's not going anywhere. Either the person is going to be somebody that takes part with you in your journey, in your life, and you learn together and you move forward, however that looks. And it should only matter to you and that person of how it looks, not to everybody else. Or they can be the one that got away. They can be the lost opportunity, the regret. And I know I'm saying strong words, pile 2, and I apologize if it's triggering to you, because I know that if you're coming from an area of fear, which it seems that you are, this can still be triggering to you. But I offer you the idea of you absolutely can be accepted for who you are by this person. And you shouldn't be afraid of this person. This person isn't coming in with, like, there's other cards like the Devil card, or like cards of the Hierophant, and cards that could speak to things that you might want to be afraid of. Someone coming in with being just obsessed with you, or someone coming in wanting to take your money, or, this person doesn't have that there. They have nothing but beautiful feelings about you and the potential of what the spiritual trajectory that this connection could have if you could just move forward and look at things in a very real and honest way, and walk forward instead of just staying stagnant. So I offer that for you to consider, that pile 2. So thank you so much. I really wish you the best. I hope that things move forward for you in this connection, and that you can be enlightened and realize that, looking back, why did I wait so long, right? I wish you the best. And please check out my website, selenegifttarot.com, to look at my page, learn a little bit about me, and then you can send me an email at selenegifttarot@gmail.com to request a personal reading and talk about maybe what kind of questions are involved in that and all those details and pricing. Okay? Thank you so much for joining me, you guys, and I hope you enjoyed the readings. Until next time.